What up, YouTube? It's your boy Banks. And we back in the building, you feel me? It's True Talks. Cause True Talks, alright? Let's get straight right into it. So you already know, man, obviously, last night the Raptors definitely improved again on their winning streak. And I'm pretty sure it's an 8-game winning streak now that the Raptors are on. And, man, it's just what elite looks like at the end of the day, man. It's just beautiful to see that the Raptors are hitting the groove, hitting the stride, and that was even without Van Vliet. You know what I'm saying? And the last couple of games as well, you already know that Pascal has definitely been back on the scene, and we're going to dissect into why, obviously. You already know. I know a lot of y'all call me a Pascal hater, but I give credit where credit is due, no matter what. But we break it down to a IQ level, you know what I'm saying, to a real level, to actually dissecting what's going on and analyzing what's going on to the full T. You already know the footage don't lie, the tape don't lie. I just have that IQ. That's what I do, and we all could have it, but you know how that goes. So you already know, bruh. So what elite looks like. Let's go into the context, because I give you that context. Let's go straight right into it, boy. So first things first, let's just talk about, obviously we understand what's happening with the Raptors. And like I was saying, they're on an 8-game win streak. They've been eating. And just over the last couple of games, if you just dissect, let's just look at Pascal first and foremost, right? You know that he's, resurgence. He won Eastern Conference Player of the Week when the Raptors went 4-0 last week. And, it's just beautiful to see. At the end of the day, you don't want someone to struggle always. You want to see them find a way to get out of it and fight and crawl out of it and then see how they did it and analyze and dissect how they did it. And I told y'all from time, Fred VanVleet being an all-star and rising his level of play, especially when Pascal was at his, at his lowest point, the Raptors. And this is why I said even last year, this is a side point. When I was saying last year that Pascal was the root. He was the main reason to why the Raptors had a terrible season, right? And what I was saying is, obviously, Raptors not having a big. You can even see this year, they don't really have a big, right? They still have solid defense. The Raptors even last year had solid defense, but their paint defense was fugazi. But their paint defense right now is still not the best, but you could see at times that, because their perimeter defense, you add the length and everything like that, that they're able to just come together and help and shrink and dig in the paint. And then you have length, the verticality, but the defense in the paint is predicated on the defense on the perimeter. If you're getting blown by, or even just then you're struggling offensively and men's are just attacking the paint OD, you're not going to really rim protect to the max level ability that you can, even if you had a big, right? And that's what I was trying to tell people, that you could offset not having paint protection if you offset it defensively or you offset it on the perimeter defense. Mans don't get to the paint as often. So, you're seeing the length, and not only that, how they beat you to get to the paint obviously matters, right? So if they're just blowing by you and killing you, then getting to the paint, no matter if you have great rim protection or not, it's still going to be difficult, as opposed to you're on their hip, they beat you, but you're kind of there, you're forcing them into tough shots, or you're just crowding them. It's going to be different takes in the paint, right? So that's one side of the story. But for the most part too, last year, that's what I was saying, is Pascal is the number one option. When you have deficiencies all over the team, like a lack of shooting big, like they had last year with Baines and the rest of them, your number one guy is supposed to rise his level of play to the point where now it offsets the deficiencies and you're still able to get wins that way because that guy is snapping. And that's why I was saying he is the root, because we've seen so many teams, even Steph Curry, where they lack on 1-2 things last year and he's snapping to the utmost ability, they maximize their situation, right? So you have to dive into those shoes. Even Jokic or stuff like that. Jokic has bare man's injured. You see he maximizes his ability and his level of output, that now the team maximized that situation. That's what I was talking about in terms of just focusing on Pascal. So now, VanVleet rose his level of play in terms of this year and became an all-star, rightfully so. And, congrats to him as well, like I've been said from before. But now the focal point offensively is for all the other teams. The scouting report, they focus on VanVleet. You can see how he gets doubled and stuff like that. So that right there changed the dynamic of Pascal himself, because we've seen him in the number one option struggle for a while, for a long time, right? So, especially when there wasn't a shooting big. So then now Pascal's going to get his confidence back. He's going back to that secondary role, where he could just be himself, cut, slide, get it in transition. He's not getting too many one-on-one situations. Or if he does, now he's confident where he's doing keep attacking, spin. You see him doing even more step back middies, more midi shots, because now he's getting comfortable because they're focusing on Van Vliet, and Pascal could run around like a dog and do whatever he wants to do. And that's the same play style he was able to play when he was alongside Kawhi. And that's what I was saying. That's the perfect play style for Pascal. That role suits him, fits him. He's going to thrive in that and be the best version of himself. When you now make that guy try to be the number one killer and go to him on an island and, ISO him and stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense. You're going to see a deteriorated version of that player because comfort-wise, he's not at his best, and just the rhythm, you're forcing him to be something that he's not. So when you look at it from that perspective, I was always saying, Raptors fans, Masai, y'all are missing the boat here. Focus on other guys and advancing them to be the creators and, the ball in their hands majority, and then let Pascal just be himself, right? When I mean be himself, no pressure, just transition, you get it, and then from there you get the ball more instead of just focusing on him running plays from the ISO out the gate and stuff like that. That's not Pascal's game. So when you look at it from that perspective, again, he kind of fell back into place, Pascal, due to Van Vliet's rise in level of play and due to Van Vliet's, rise where now the defense is focusing on him and trying to stop him because he was on a surge. You get what I'm saying? No pun with Ibaka, but you get what I'm saying? He was on that surge and he was just killing. So, and that the league was noticing him. So, again, Pascal fell into place, and then when he falls into place, Trent is there. You seen he had 42 last night. Trent is killing, coming off pin downs, coming off screens and spotting up, all of that, even ISO ability as well too, situationally. You see OG is still going to always take his shots and still be aggressive. And then, Scotty kind of just same thing with Pascal. Get it how you get it. Get it where you fit it. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of read, react, just play with the flow and be yourself. Don't force. And when you look at it from that perspective, that's the perfect dynamic, especially for Pascal to thrive, because again, that's how we thrive with Kawhi, where Kawhi was the focus. Now, Van Vliet is not on Kawhi's level, but it's about the focus game plan wise, where the teams scout and report and look at how we're going to guard you and what we're going to focus on stopping this game. When you focus on one guy, it's not that you only focus on one guy, but when you make your primary focus on that one guy, it's easier for the guy in the secondary role to kind of eat and get away of opportunities because the focus defensively is on that one guy majority, right? They rather this guy go off than this guy go off. So Pascal, when he's in that role, like I said, he's elite in that role, 100%. That's how he won a ring. That's how he killed in the finals. Like, he's been elite in that role. But then forcing him to be a number one guy, that's where I was always saying is cap, and then you see the worst of him. And he looks like a shell of himself. And it's not like it's Pascal's fault. It's the fans and the media and Masai and all these guys' fault to take what he did alongside Kawhi and make it something else. And that's why I always say rate everybody accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was trying to focus on, to teach people. Y'all are missing the boat. Y'all are capping. Y'all need to enlighten and see that this is not it. And that's what this whole Pascal hater thing that people been saying has came from and stemmed from. So when you look at that and dive outside of that, like I said, now he's starting to fit back where he is. And that's why you see him more confident. He shoots more. Same thing when he was with Kawhi. His shooting was, even the 3-point, he was shooting properly and everything, as opposed to when he wasn't with Kawhi and he was a number one option. So you look at those things, and it's just like, okay, he's really, really coming back to form, right? So that's great to see. And again, like, you just have to tip your hat off to the fact that he's able to just, again, find a way to still go back to what he used to be, even though it's easier, because now he's not focused on, but still having the mindset to be like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to just ride the wave and just go ahead and do what I got to do. You got to give credit to that as well from Pascal's end. So, again, when Pascal plays at that level, especially in the secondary role, you could see with Kawhi, remember, take it in. With Kawhi, the Raptors were winning, right? Without Kawhi, even when he sat, the Raptors were winning because Pascal is still in that role. And when Pascal's in that role, the Raptors actually win the most. And that's what you're seeing right now. When you make him be go to him on an island, that's when you see the team success drastically drop. And people are going to be like, what are you saying, Banks? And you just read the numbers and you don't really understand what's happening on the court in terms of just schematically and play style wise. But this is what is happening you have to have the trained eye to actually see this. But, it's beautiful to see. So now we move on past Pascal and Van Vliet, even though he's not here today or wasn't there last game, that confidence exudes. So again, it's like when he didn't have Kawhi, even though Kawhi's not there. And then, they're kind of like, okay, we're just playing the Raptors. That confidence trickles down even when Kawhi's not there, even when Van Vliet's not there now, you still see that guy. So that's beautiful to see. The confidence is rising back. And again, hopefully this transitions all the way to the end and the Raptors keep this momentum going into the All-Star break. After the All-Star break with Mans are really, really trying. And, Brooklyn now made the trade and they're going to try. And, as Lonzo comes back for the Bulls and Mans get healthy. And that end of All-Star break push is always feels like a play. Every game feels like some type of playoff. Not playoff at its max, but some form of playoff, atmosphere is kind of existing there because Mans are trying. Right? So, that's where I want to see. I'm looking forward to seeing that with the Raptors. Now, again, Gary Trent Jr., man, it's beautiful to see how he just keeps rising and rising to the occasion, man. The more Mans get out, the more usage he gets to have, and he loves it, and he just snaps and goes to work. And I've always said, I told people, man, Gary Trent, even though he's the same build and archetype as Norm Powell, but he's different when you want to detail it and break it down and dissect it. His shot creating ability is light years away from Norm Powell's. Norm Powell is more athletic and is more so paint three. Norm Powell might even be a better catch and shoot shooter, right? But Gary Trent, his rhythm, the bag he can get into, not needing a screen at any time, he's a threat and he's gonna create and gonna put, he's gonna take advantage of opportunity. So if a man runs a screen and he gets a screen and the big plays drop coverage, he's not going to waste that opportunity and just try and run into the paint, get contact, and have to pass it out to the corner like Norm Powell would do bare times. You sag off in the drop coverage, I'm pulling. He's going to take every opportunity he's going to take. It's like similar to like Cam Thomas. And if every opportunity you give me, where now is the Rock, I'm hot and ready, I'm more proper, I'm going to serve him like hot spaghetti, I'm going to take it, yo. And that's Gary Trent. And someone like that is a dog, and someone like that is different when you look at just the shot creating ability and you look at the mindset behind it as well too. So Gary Trent, man, dog, I've been said from time, like when I saw him with the Blazers and I see him, when you're with Dame, CJ, and Melo and you're still taking shots when Dame is one more open and you're like, forget that shit, I'm going to do a step back and I'm going to hit it. That guy is different. I said that from time. That guy is different. That guy, that dog, that, that energy, like that guy is different. And to find out that he actually wasn't even happy from when his dad said that he wasn't even happy in Portland, not just not being around Dame and them, just individually success, right? You want to maximize your individual ability. And this is why I love the guys who are cut from that ilk. They could go around being, I want to be a role player. You get what I'm saying? And me being a role player, I'll maximize my money and I'll just be the role player and I can live into that. Even though I have the capabilities to be more than that, I'm going to just be a role player and play the safe route. Those guys who are unhappy at their max point potential individually are the guys you have to be afraid of because they're the guys who they take the risk. It's not guaranteed you're going to get the perfect situation where you could be individually great and maximize your individual ability and master your craft. You're not always going to get that situation, right? So for you to just always be a threat and be like you're going to in a situation where they want you to be a role player, you're still going to do more than what the role players should do, even though they don't want you. You're going to be unconventional at times. Times you shouldn't shoot it, you're going to shoot it. Times they want you to pass back to the main guy, you're like, fuck that shit, I'm going to go ahead. You get what I'm saying? That type of guy is always someone to fear because he's taking the risk. He's taking the unconventional route, the unsafe route. He's gambling, basically, betting on yourself. And then what happens? You see the Raptors, Masai sees that and say, bring him over here. And they brought him over here to, they probably didn't even expect him to be like this. They expected him to be do same similar production as Powell. 15 points per game, that's good. What does he do? 18 points. And he came half a season, so that doesn't even really count. This is his first full season, 18 points. You know what I'm saying? And snapping, getting bare career highs and advance. Like, come on now. A guy like that is where you gotta rate, because he took the unguaranteed route, similar to Van Vliet, betting on himself. He took the unguaranteed route. And someone like that, you have to appreciate. And those are dogs. Those are guys who are like, they have that Kobe mind, right? It's like, dog, no excuse. I'm just gonna produce, and I'm gonna get to the max amount of ability and master my craft. So I appreciate Gary Trent, man. And I always knew he had that type of dog in him. You could just sense it. You could see it if you have the trained eye. And I seen it from Portland. I'm like, dog, he's catching and shooting, and he's doing step backs in that scenario. Imagine if this guy was on a team where he had to even do more. I promise you. And that's what I expected. So I called that from time, and it's beautiful to see Gary Trent, and he's not even close to where he actually could be. He's not even close to where he actually could be. So, now when you get older with time, you get more efficient, you draw more fouls, you master your spots that you're weaker in, you add and add and add and add and add. Okay, you know what? I need to add a reverse pivot in the arsenal, because now when I get step back and I'm padded in this scenario, I should never be padded. You keep adding and adding and adding. Guys like that, you know what I mean? Dog. Different, man. It's beautiful to see, and you're seeing this on this 8-game win streak as well. You seen it last night or the other night with the Rockets. Gary Trent is that guy, man. OG, I still want him to be more aggressive. Defensively, he's elite. I always had OG and Mikal Bridges are and Thibault, and now Simmons obviously is coming back. Those four are the best perimeter defenders in the league, man. Especially wing wise, dog. Those guys. OG's defense is elite too. Man, it's just different. I want him still to be more aggressive offensively. I still want to see that from him in terms of just moving like Trent. You know what I'm saying? Where it's any opportunity that you have, take advantage of it. Don't let that go to waste. As an individual, that's what you always have to. That's always the fight. Putting in your mind, any opportunity I have, I'm shooting, yo. I'm taking advantage. I'm advancing my craft, and not only just shooting, because it helps the team, but it also helps me individually find out or get better at stuff I'm working on. And this is the kind of the mental approach from a hooper that goes on during the games, but they don't really talk about it, right? That's why I try my best to talk about just the hooper mentality, not just necessarily the stats or the footage, just the hoop behind what the hooper is thinking, right? Because I'm a hooper, so I already know. I don't need to talk to mans. I know what they thinking. You get what I'm saying? As a hooper, it's real, recognized real if you really that type of hooper. You get what I'm saying? So I'm talking about a hooper with a bag. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry. One day I'm going to show, man, I have the bag. The bag, the bag fits all. You know what I'm saying? It's that duffel. My goodness. Anyways, bruh, when you look at it from that ability, man, it's just beautiful to see. So I love what I'm seeing from the Raptors. They're on this 8-game win streak. Van Vliet, is a back-to-back, so he's going to rest one. And, Nick Nurse, again, doing a full court press, dog, in the top of the fourth quarter, treating it like it's high score AAU. That's crazy. Nick Nurse will do anything, man. Sometimes it's dog, it's so weird to see high school type of defenses in the NBA or I'm moving like a high school team. It's god damn, I just got away from watching this shit. Because if you watch high school, they'll just be full court pressing for a whole half, yo. And it's you don't see half court, picking poison. You just see, it's just basketball. It's just, transition. Oh, they beat the press, score, layup. Oh, no, get the steal, layup. It's just layup, alley, dunk. You know what I'm saying? Trade ball, everything's fast-paced transition because you're full court pressing. So, but it's about winning the game. So, high school, sometimes you just look at it but now when you go to the NBA and you watch NBA and you watch those type of games, sometimes now it's hard going back and watching just a full court press all game from both teams. It's god damn, you know what I mean? It's hard watching that. So when you see Nurse implement these things, it's god damn, that's fugazi, Nurse. What are you doing? But at the end of the day, schematically, it's going to work, especially the Rockets, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, where they're a young team, make mistakes, etc. So, Nurse always has something up his sleeve. So, he's a great coach, man. He's a great coach. He doesn't get talked about enough. He's a great, great coach. And, I even think he's better than Kerr, to be honest. But that's a different discussion. But, he's elite with it. So Raptors, you gotta give credit where credit is due. Everyone's playing good, and we'll see how it pans out. Let me see the next couple of games what they have. It's just you got to look at it and just understand that you like even Pascal's percentages is pretty good for the season. Not pretty good, it's great for the season. Other than maybe his 3-point, his 3-point might even be good, but for the most part, let's see what the Raptors have coming out, and then from there we kind of like again it's an 8-game win streak. You want it to continue, but even if it doesn't continue, the fact that they're 6th seed and could be rising, that's obviously beautiful to see. And what do we got here right now? We got we got the Raptors. They just beat Houston, so they got Denver, New Orleans. New Orleans is rising. CJ will probably be there for that game. That's Valentine's Day Monday. So Saturday they got Denver, then they got New Orleans, Minnesota, Charlotte, Atlanta, Brooklyn twice. God damn. And then finally a low is Detroit. So they got some pretty solid teams. Even the teams that you don't think are solid, they're starting to be solid. Like New Orleans, Minnesota, they're not no slouch. Charlotte, not no slouch. Atlanta, Brooklyn. That's crazy. So if they're able to keep this winning streak for a long time, even during this, like this is a real stretch to be like, okay, let's see what we do. And even though they still beat good teams in the last stretch, like they beat Miami, Atlanta, Miami, Chicago, like that 4 right there is elite. You know what I'm saying? And then beat Atlanta, then beat Charlotte. It's not like they only had OKC and Houston on the last 2. But the first 6 games in this winning streak was solid, great caliber team. So it's not like, oh, we need to see it again. But this one, there's no lapse right now for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next 7 games, there's no lapse. So we'll see. We'll see how this pans out, right? Anyways, you already know it's True Talks. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. Oh, before I leave, people talking about the Dragic. It's not too serious. Thaddeus Young, he'll probably fit in there a little bit. Maybe average 6 points, 5 rebounds, 3. Like, you know what I mean? He's just a auxiliary player. It's not something special. You know what I'm saying? Dragic, what they could have got in the deal with the Miles Turner or what they could have got with the Nerlens Noel on THT, I think other teams pulled out of that. I think the Raptors did their best that they could have did for Dragic because they had to trade him. Like, you're not trying to keep this guy past the deadline, so you have to trade him. So then eventually just ended up being Pick and Thaddeus Young. So, it's not something special. It's not like Masai pulled some wizardry. He really couldn't because, again, the Raptors were at their hands were tied, basically. You're trying to trade something that is kind of like a hella veteran player. It's like, people are not going to throw the most for that, right? So it's kind of like, it's tough, right? So, he did good. He had to get rid of him. So probably it's the best deal at the 11th hour that he could have got. And he did that. So again, Masai will always find a way to be smart. At the end of the day, he didn't just hold it and not do anything. But again, I think the other teams pulled out, like Indiana and the Lakers, because they're like, yo, if I get THT, you want it. Like, we can't trade Westbrook, so keeping THT is something vital, at least for this last push. So we not pull out, don't even trade him. There's no point, right? Because what are they getting back, right? You're not going to get back anything that's equal to THT or even better. So it's like, you might as well just keep him, fam. So that's what the Lakers probably pulled out. Miles Turner, they probably pulled out because, like, that would be a steal for the Raptors. They got Miles Turner and threw Dragic in a 1-2. Like, for what they could probably get for Miles Turner, that wouldn't be smart from Indiana's point, especially now that they did the Tyrese and whatever, and Sabonis is gone. Maybe you leave Miles Turner, let his stock rise because he's going to maybe eat and he's actually not, sharing duties with Sabonis. Maybe he becomes a whole different Miles Turner. Maybe you don't trade him, or maybe now his value rises. So when you trade him, you can get star power. So if I'm Indiana, I would have never traded him. I would have withheld him. So, and let him, play for this last half and see what goes on. So anyways, we'll see, again, the trade deadline. I got a 1-2 video. I talked about it. If you didn't see it, go on my live. The video's there on my videos. Just go, watch what I was talking about. I'm going to redo a Brooklyn one and, kind of give my full, clean, straightforward synopsis of what happened and what's going on and who won the trade, etc. That's coming up. So again, it's True Talks, because True Talk. Share, like, and subscribe. We out here. There's no doubt here. There's no drought here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. Click that notification button so you know when I'm here, because I'm here. You feel me? I appreciate y'all. You already know. It's what elite looks like, boy. And I'm out, man.